Hey everyone, welcome back. I've got a process video for you today on the Let Your Imagination Take Flight page. I did this for the My Little Scrapbook Store April crop, and that was the Butterfly Challenge. So the first thing I did was get the title set up with two different fonts. I utilized the rose gold small alphas and the large gold alphas. No idea where some of these are from. I've had them for a long time. I wanted the flight to also be in the large gold, but I didn't have a way to make an F. So I just decided to leave it with the rose gold for the Let Your and Take Flight, and Imagination be in large gold. And it ends up working out just perfectly on the page. So because this particular layout has a lot going on, I knew I needed to have the title so that I could kind of make sure it fit on the page. So normally I do the title last, but this time I went ahead and did it one of the first things. So I also wanted to have clouds in the background because I wanted it to be flight, and I didn't have any good cloud paper. So Amanda Kirby actually had done a similar thing that I'm going to do, and I'll try to link her channel in my description. But I took a cut file from Paper Issues, a free file, and I cut it out, and I'm going to use it as a stencil. So I just picked a random paper that I don't really care about. This blue, it's not a high quality cardstock, it's just a blue that I don't think I'll use. And I am using some different inks so that I can kind of get a feel for the same colors in those butterflies. Now those butterflies are cut out of the vellum specialty paper that came with one of the Vicki Boutin collections. I think it was Honey and Spice, I might be wrong. And I fussy cut out all of those butterflies. And you'll see in the close-ups they have all of these different colors in them, and I wanted to replicate that in the background. So when I first started doing the stencil, it started to move. I'm going to tape it down just to try to kind of keep that from happening. And because I want it to replicate kind of the random colors in the butterflies, I'm not doing a real ombre, I'm not doing kind of color stories or rainbow order. I'm just randomly putting down the distress ink. I have these brushes that are from Amazon. They're kind of the knockoff brushes. You can get some other ones, probably have a little bit better quality. But as you can see there, I don't treat my brushes very well. So it doesn't really seem useful for me to have the high quality ones. This is actually sped up, I think, by 3 because it's a long process. So, but basically what I do is I put the dark color down and then I lighten it up by going in with the lighter color around it. So for this, I used Faded Jeans and Shaded Lilac. The next you're going to see me use is the Pickled Raspberry or Picked Raspberry to get that pink color. And it really pops, that pink does. So you're going to see me come in and notice how I clean the brushes. Not treating them that great, but they work. I'm going to come in with Tattered Rose to lighten up the pink. So that's basically the philosophy I'm using, is you put the dark one down and then you use a lighter color on top of it, kind of lighten it up to brighten up what you're doing. And then I'm going to use Evergreen Bow and Mermaid Lagoon as kind of accent colors. So I've got all of this kind of pinks and blues, and because the pinks and blues are making some purples, it's working out well. And now I'm going to use the green because there's some green in some of there's some teal in some of those butterflies. And then I'm going to use the bright teal of the Mermaid Lagoon, and I'm going to do that just to kind of give some of these spots a pop. Now, I'm not doing it everywhere, and remember I said we're not being, it's not about having full coverage, and it's not about having a real color story. Like you're not going to see a rainbow in this, which I know a lot of people do when they do the ink, and I've done before. This is particular just to kind of be a wash of color. So here's the big reveal, and it really does look amazing. It just pops. And that was fussy cutting the butterflies and then doing that background really did take the bulk of this layout. It's one of the layouts that I've done recently that's taken the longer amount of time. So now I'm going to lay out the butterflies, and I hope you can see just how the colors are picking up in the butterflies. So the teal and the green, you could see that, the purple, because I don't have the dark purple Distress Oxide, but the Mermaid Lagoon with that picked raspberry really does kind of make a purple. So in a few of those spots you can see kind of a purpley color. And over again, what you're seeing is these butterflies are picking up the color behind it and kind of making them even pop more. So I had one of the ephemera butterflies left, so I thought I'd just go ahead and use that on the bottom, and maybe people won't notice that it's different, but if you have a challenge to use butterflies, you might as well use as many butterflies as you can. That's my philosophy. So the other thing you're noticing now, and I just kind of showed you, is the background file I cut was put up in the upper left hand corner by my Cricut. So I have a kind of a big border on the bottom and on the right. So I'm just gonna, instead of cutting this evenly, I'm gonna cut those and then mat it back in the center so it kind of gets centered. I'm pulling this paper, I think it's from even the collection before Honey and Spice, or of Vicki Boutin, but that's one of the great things is they all kind of work together, all of her collections. So I'm going to use that to mat the paper. Now, I know many of you are upset because I'm not gutting it. I have had all of these Vicki Boutin collections for so long, and I'm at this point I have so much extra. I am using the paper, just using it. Also, the back of this paper it's not one that I really cared for. I'm taking the faded jeans and going around just to kind of give it an edge. I could have gone and picked out a brown or a black, but since I had faded jean out, I just went ahead and used that. Notice I had a little boo-boo on the bottom, but it'll get covered up. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down on the paper, and then we will start playing and getting everything set up. This is one of the layouts that I'm not going to say took me out of my comfort zone, but it's a lot more about the embellishments than a lot of my layouts tend to be, so I kind of liked it. The pictures are of me with Horton and the sculpture of Horton at the Maryland or Massachusetts Dr. Seuss Museum. If you live near Massachusetts, you should go. I've been doing a lot of those pictures recently, and they're just it's just it's kind of a wonderful place to visit and to see all your childhood characters, or the characters that you know read the books to your kids or grandkids. It's just wonderful. So I'm going to place the Let Your Imagination Take Flight in the upper left hand corner of the page, and I'm going to save you from watching me put all the letters down. I'm not using a ruler or anything because it's got the lines from the clouds already, so that kind of helped me. Now I will say that this gold font is kind of an older sticker. I probably need to go back in and add some glue on it. So I'm getting my pop dots ready because I know I'm going to need them. So I only had, this is it. This is all I had left of that really cool aqua paper, and it's in one of the collections. And I loved it, and I wanted to use it. I wanted it to be behind the photos. I think it pops. But, if you have a 12-inch piece of paper and you have two 4x6 photos, you're not going to be able to mat them. So what I'm going to end up doing is kind of a trick that I've done a few times, and sometimes I do it for both photos. This time I only did it with one of the photos, is I trimmed off enough of the other photos so that I can use that 12-inch paper to get two mats. The other thing that you'll see is on that one particular page, I had used this as a to cut out for a cut file, to back a cut file. So there's this weird shape at the bottom, and what I'm going to end up doing is just placing that photo underneath the other one. So unless you're watching this video, you will never know that that mat is not complete. So I'm going to place the first photo down, and then I'm going to pop up the one with me in it just to kind of give a little dimension. One of the things we'll talk about in a second is this page probably didn't need much more dimension. It's got a lot of it, and I don't know how I'm going to get it into a page protector. In fact, I probably won't for a while. It might just hang on my wall. One of the things I don't like about pop dots or these foam squares is that you have to peel off every one of them, and it makes a huge mess, but that's okay. So now I have to lay out the butterflies again. And because I did fussy cut them out of a piece of paper, some of them have their wings kind of clipped or they're half butterflies, and there's larger ones and smaller ones, and they have all different colors in them. Make sure I got a variety. So it was important to me that I kind of laid them out how I wanted them before I started sticking them down. If you just start sticking them down, you may end up with two greens next to each other or a purple next to each other, or it just might not look right. So I'm going to show you just kind of what I did on this first one. I just put round pop dots, small pop dots in the middle of them. And then we're going to kind of switch over, and most of them are done. Now for about half of the butterflies, I folded them in the middle to kind of give their wings a little bit of dimension so they'll pop up. And that helped to kind of make them lean. And I didn't do it to all of them. I did it to about half of them so that, you know, there's variety. Sometimes you just want to make sure that you don't overkill your page with too much of the same thing. So I did only do that for half of them. And you're starting to see how the page is going to look. I am really happy with it. I feel like it actually looks kind of like art. The background, because the butterflies are vellum, even though I am basically quote unquote covering up most of that background that I spent so much time on, because the butterflies are vellum and because their wings are kind of raised, you still see a beautiful color, and it actually helps to accentuate the color in the butterflies. So I think this was just the perfect combination of a couple of different techniques for a page with using the vellum and using the distress oxides. So as I'm finishing these butterflies, I'm looking at it and realizing there's the gold in imagination, and there's the gold in the butterfly and the butterfly's wings. And I just want to add just a little more gold on the page. So I'm actually going to grab, I think I have one more butterfly to put down. Yeah. I had that one last butterfly there, and I just decided I just wanted to put it kind of coming up and around to kind of give it some motion. So you'll see they kind of do a little swirl around the page. I'm going to grab my gold mica mist, and I am going to go ahead and splatter it on this page and kind of give it a little bit more brightness, a little more kind of glimmer. But that is basically what I did. So it took a long time, but it really wasn't difficult. So fussy cutting the butterflies and then making that background kind of took most of it. But real quick, here's going to be some close-ups so you can kind of see what the page looks like up close. So there is kind of the dimension of those butterflies kind of coming off the page. You can see the shadow of them. I'm real happy with how this turned out. I'm happy with the colors, and I hope you liked it too. Please like and subscribe and give me a comment and let me know how you liked it. Thanks. Have a great day.